Hello, hello, and we are live.
I have no words for this.
Yep, we're live because
I have no words.
Because it's the new year. Let's start some new nonsense. And we got some nonsense today,
We don't
folks.
have to start nonsense. SBA is already continuing that tradition that they have undertaken since March of 2020 with complete all caps neon sign Times Square at midnight on New Year's Eve. Nonsense.
Oh boy. Here we go. Well, first of all, I know some of you are already with us, but if you are joining us live, we want to thank you for joining us. If you're joining us on the replay, we want to thank you for hanging out with us. And if you're here with us live, thanks so much for hanging
Tom
out with us.
Crossan, thank
Hello,
you.
Tom.
I don't know what you're thanking us for, but
I know.
you're welcome.
I've
welcome.
emailed with
I didn't
Tom.
even share you with you any of my recipes yet. So,
I have emailed with Tom before. I hope everything is going well with you. So, all right, folks, we've got, I don't know if it's a packed show. It could be a very disorganized show. We're going to straight up tell you that.
well, when you start out with that eyeball thing,
Yeah. Well, it was
it's all
that or
downhill.
this is the SBA not being able to do math. Hello, can we get a grown-up at the SBA to handle these files? What is going on? I got more props. I got more props, baby.
props or problems?
Well, the props could be a problem.
Thanks, Tom. I like my hats, my Roxbury hat.
Hello, William McCarthy. Hello, Happy New Year. Hey, BKPFK. What up in the house? Saheed Muhammad. Nice to see you too. All right. Happy New Year.
Well, hang on a second. BKPFK family, you are the reason why we're on today's show. Here's what he writes. Can you put this up on the banner there, girlfriend?
I've actually almost forgotten how to use this whole contraption because it's been since November 24th.
I just received my declination letter this afternoon, he said. They declined my request for the increase.
It could be a
economic injury not substantiated. Okay, that's why.
That is why we are
decided
here.
to come live, and I want to apologize if I cough because we are just getting over COVID. We've been sick for 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we have no respect at all for declination letters from the SBA, generally speaking. But today and now more than ever, because it appears to me that SBA clerks are just clearing the decks. That's all they're doing. They're not even looking at the files. I know.
Why do we know?
Because we've gotten about a half dozen or 8 of these declination letters so far today alone on our clients. Yes. And it is obvious from the moronic reasons given in the letters that the SBA did not even look at my documents that I, a professional financing loan officer, prepared and submitted to you morons at the SBA, and you're not even reading it yet, idiots.
Look at this. Yes, Saeed.
Hey, Saeed, congratulations. Mazel tov.
We don't have the noise
We had
makers.
somebody reach out to us last week about some Senate initiative, wanting us to comment because of our experience and everything and be involved with this legislation, which is supposed to make the SBA be more transparent. And A, I don't have the bandwidth for this crap anymore. And B, in my opinion, and yeah, you're hearing it here for the first time on January 5th, 2022, the SBA is a useless agency that should be completely dissolved.
Well, I'm so glad.
It does not honor its mission from 1953 to provide working capital to underrepresented groups like women and Black people and minorities and Native Americans.
Yep.
It was failing at that mission before COVID hit.
Which is why it was even. That's why the EIDL was set up to help minorities and women-owned businesses.
Well, the SBA was created for that reason.
Yes.
You're confusing two things. Try to keep it clean and clear here, okay, Linda Ray?
Hey,
try to keep up with me, okay?
I am clean and clear.
Put on the goofy eyeballs again, because it kind of goes with that comment you just made. I don't even know what the hell that's all about. So
I'm just trying to keep myself entertained here.
we are still hunkered down here in Roxbury, Connecticut.
Yes.
And helping our clients. We started a project which we call Jumpstart 2.0 to inject a whole load of documents into each client's file at the SBA to get the idiots at the SBA to pay attention. But time and again, we see the SBA literally does not read their own damn forms. It says SBA at the top, and they don't even read their own forms. So, Isabella Guzman, I had so much hope for you, and you know what? You get an F-.
Whoa.
Because you have failed in the one thing you needed to excel at, which was the COVID-19 EIDL program. Isabella Guzman, you have failed.
Yes.
Congress needs to tell you, Mr. Biden, you need to fire Ms. Guzman and put someone else in this job who will straighten out this agency. What am I talking about? This agency cannot be straightened out.
Well, this is
okay. I'm going to stop ranting and raving.
Okay,
now.
so this is the other thing why there are people who have chimed in. Are you okay? All right, you all right? Here, you need some water? Here, have a bottle. So there are people who have chimed in who have reached out to their local politicians and had success. That's awesome.
That's great.
We don't know how you're
She's
defining.
kicking me and elbowing me.
We don't know how you're defining success unless your file was approved and funded.
Sorry, your politician did not get you approved.
It's all about the timing. It's all about the timing. We had someone. All right, this week alone, we had $952,600, I think, in approvals this week. One gentleman has been with us since May of last year. I have to say last year because it's no longer this year. So it's like what?
Of course, it's no longer last year. It's this year.
I know, but I almost said May of this year, and it hasn't
you
happened
almost
yet.
said that, but that was only in your head. They actually did not hear you think that.
I know, but I was just sharing my. Hey, Michael just walked in.
Hi, Michael. Yes,
Trevor's
ranting.
going. Yeah. Hello.
Ranting.
New stories are old stories are new. Yeah, there you go. And so
folks, politicians, complete waste of time. They send you this confidentiality disclosure.
I can't even. I was actually on the path of saying the politicians have no juice. Otherwise, this mess would have been cleaned up by now. That's it. That's it. They say they're going to get in touch with somebody somewhere out there, and it doesn't matter. You just have to wait. It's all about, I have a banner for this too, so it's all about who's working on your file. It's all about the loan officer.
So, Michael Bowens, here's why we think this is a stupid question. And I'm not trying to insult you, Michael, but I'm just telling you it's a stupid question. If you're applying for financing, folks, you should anticipate that the lender who's going to lend you the money, in this case SBA, at any point along the journey from application to funding may run your credit report once, twice, 3 times. So assume the credit report will be run and make sure your credit report is not locked. A lot of folks get these declinations, unverifiable information. Well, that's because the morons at SBA don't give you the real reason. What they should write, the way we used to do it in the mortgage business, the way we still do it in the mortgage business, they should say, unable to access your credit report because your credit report was locked.
Michael, please, I'm sorry.
Hey, Tim's son. Now more than ever.
Michael, don't be insulted. We get every day, we get questions. People ask about credit, and we did videos. We have a whole playlist on credit score inquiries, just that alone, because people are just flummoxed with the process in general. And the process in general,
Edgar,
is in general. There is no set standard for the process. So anyway,
Edgar's hanging in.
Hey. So, all right, now let's see. What else did we want to talk about? This is what we also want to talk about. It's past December 31st.
Let's talk about Tim Sohn. Because Tim Sohn is a handsome devil. He is also the very first person who jumped in and watched our YouTube videos 2.5 years ago when we were starting out our fledgling little YouTube channel here. And it was Tim, now more than ever, who joined us live every day when we only had 3 people on the video, which was her, me, and Tim. So, Tim, Happy New Year to you, brother. We miss you.
All right. So let's talk about reconsiderations after December 31st. For those of you who For those of you who are not our clients and looking to understand, we also did a video on if you already got a loan and you file for an increase. In your loan agreement, it says you have up to 24 months from the original loan agreement date. Thank you, Tim, to file for an increase in your loan. So that is, I mean, can you just set the record straight on, is an increase?
There's no record to set straight.
Is there an increase?
There's no record. The SBA has no record.
Increase is also known as a reconsideration. A reconsideration is just the changing of the loan.
I don't know. At this point, I don't know what the hell SBA calls anything.
Okay. Well,
I'm famous for saying if an SBA representative told me what time it was, I wouldn't believe them.
That is true. But can we
If they told me the sky was blue, I would ask NASA for spectral analysis.
All right, let me put it this way.
I'm in a really bad mood about SBA today. And we've gotten something like 8 or 9 declinations so far today. And someone here on the show got one today. These people at the SBA, they're
not reading.
There was the push back in August, September, October for the increases that were stuck. And then it seems like SBA just forgot. They forgot about all you reconsideration folks during that time. And there was not a single mention of you in any of their publicity materials, their emails, or when the SBA administrator would jump onto Skip's show and she would jump in there. Skip does a great job, by the way, of really giving some pretty good information. But the SBA comes onto his show and says, do this and do that, and proves time and again how clueless these people are who are running SBA. And not a single mention about you folks who are in reconsideration. You're in reconsideration
for 9 months,
mostly because of the stupidity at SBA. They don't tell you what's defective about your application. You got to figure it out on your own. B, you follow somebody like us. You send in the right paperwork. They don't even read the paperwork. I mean,
yeah. All right. So can we just, Trina, do you mean the SBA is asking for the same information?
Yeah, Trina, I saw your comment earlier. I'm afraid we can't comment on IRS-related issues. We're not a tax professional service. It seems like your CPA did some kind of a filing. I think you said 8832, which, if I'm not mistaken, that's something to do with changing the filing status from, I think, a Schedule C to an S Corp type of tax return. I'm not really sure. I'm not an accountant.
Yeah, we can't really comment on IRS.
Can't really assist you with IRS.
Your CPA might be able to assist.
All we're going to say today about IRS is this. If you're being told by the idiots at the SBA that your 4506T is bounced because of the IRS, do not believe them. Watch our videos on how to prepare a 4506T correctly.
We're waiting with you.
And submit your 4506T. Now, we've also seen in the last 4 months that the gatekeeper idiots at the SBA are bouncing 4506Ts by saying the IRS will not accept this because you need to have the spouse's signature on it, even though your spouse is not in the business, but it's a 1040. Or it must have an ink signature.
Hold on.
Or all other kinds of stupidity.
What about this? This is interesting.
Hi, Erica.
The SBA is saying the form is wrong, even if it's right. They're not even following the IRS instructions, which is a one-page document that precedes the one-page document.
Yeah, the 4506T comes with an instruction page.
So we were filling it out correctly. Wherein if a client moved,
which 2 years into COVID, people have moved. Hello,
they moved. So their 2019 tax return has an address. But there's a line on the 4506T that says, for current address, we have filled it out correctly based on the client's information. And the SBA has come back and said that the form is wrong and that IRS will reject it. And it's like, you don't even know how to fill out this form.
It literally says on the form, on the 4506T, whether you have the instructions or not, it says on the form, current address on most recently filed tax return. Well, if your most recently filed tax return was for 2020 or soon 2021, and you've moved, it's perfectly commonsensical you would put that address. Oh, but no, SBA gatekeepers, the idiots that Isabella Guzman and James Rivera apparently cannot train how to read documents and fill out important forms like a 4506T, fail administration.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
She's kicking me.
No, this is okay, because I want to go back to the reconsiderations after December 31st. And I want to say this as just for all of you who are still in limbo and may have gotten a decline letter today, you still want to file a reconsideration. You have to keep fighting it because they don't even know how to read forms and do math.
Yeah, just keep going.
You have to just keep going. But a couple of key things is don't send your story or how to fix it in an email. We've done videos.
Yeah.
Everything we're talking about today, we have a video on it, okay? And if we said it live already, I probably extracted a shorter video to highlight that message. And one of the messages is to not send emails that explain or correct your information. You have to send it in an affidavit style letter where it's dated and signed with your information, your name, address, your EIDL application number, etc. You want to sign it as well, okay, with a secure digital signature.
The reason Linda's saying this
Stop calling the SBA.
Because
they don't know.
With the over $30 million in approvals that we have obtained for clients, it really comes down to a simple document set. And being a veteran loan officer, I don't tell stories. It's just about the process. It's about the paperwork and process.
It's about documentation.
And, and about the person, getting the right person at SBA, hit or miss, day of the week, time of the month, whatever, getting the right person who can actually read your paperwork, will take the time to read your paperwork and will understand your paperwork and go, oh, okay. Because as a very excellent SBA loan officer said to me about 8 weeks ago, she said, Trevor, it's actually very simple, right? It's a tax return and a credit report, and that's it. That's literally all it is. And as we've been going through files, I've been re-underwriting our client files with our Jumpstart 2.0 project. Linda will hear me. I'll be in the office and I'll be banging my desk or cursing or throwing a book across the room or something, being really annoyed. She's like, what's the matter? And I'm like, looking at a client's file. I looked at one 2 days ago. The poor schmuck, $37,000 of gross profit. The idiots at SBA only gave him $8,000 or $9,000 to start with. He's been trying before us and with us, I don't know, something like 12 months, a year, 11 months, 10 months to get approved. And it's so simple. I mean, his tax return is immaculate. It's clean tax return. It's a 1040. He does automobile sales. He files a Schedule C. There it is, $37,962 times 2. I mean, this is fifth grade arithmetic, SBA. Do the math. I ran the guy's credit report. He's got a 670 something credit score. I mean, it's so simple, and yet the idiots who work in that agency make it so complicated.
Mark, you're gonna get it, Mark. You are gonna get it.
Cut it out.
You
man.
are gonna get it.
We appreciate you, Mark.
We appreciate you. So I want to address Keely's comment about a business, maybe that there's no economic injury after.
Keely, it's whole horse shit. When the letter says economic injury, and you don't understand, I've seen hundreds of these letters in the last 2 years. And when I look at the file, it is clear to me that they're just making shit up. They're making it up so they can just do the form letter and send it out, and they can say to their boss, I did 15 files today. It's 5 o'clock. I'm going home. We are talking about federal bureaucrat type of clerk mentality. They don't get paid a lot. These are not people who are really interested in whether you get the money or not.
True.
So that's why we have zero respect for the SBA declination letters. I figured this out ages ago. The first couple of ones that came over, I'm like, wait, this makes no sense. Okay? So economic injuries unsubstantiated is a load of horse crap. All right, Keely?
Well,
file your paperwork, get in there, watch our videos.
I don't think he's talking about his, I don't think he's talking about, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's saying that maybe a business that started after January 1st, 2020 can't substantiate an economic loss. And I disagree with that, because in January, the COVID period is through December 1st.
And look, here's Richard, who
Now, this is why people comment for you not to interrupt me. Now, I'm actually agreeing with them. So stop it. I'm in the middle of something right now. And this is what this is why I disagree with Keely, because a business didn't know COVID was coming because it didn't happen until March of 2020. If a business started in January, it's very possible they did have an economic injury throughout 2020, even if they just started their business, because they could have made more money. They could have had a different path of their.
But Keely, the thing is, they're not looking at your 2020 income. They're not. If you look at the IRS 4506T that they're using, it does not request a 2020 tax return. So they have no idea what your 2020 income is. And even if they do see it, we've had loans approved where we've actually had loans approved where people made money. Like we had a factory client who had zero revenue in 2019, and the loan officer used his 2020 tax return to approve him. And so, you know, that's the rare case. So again, the reasons on these declination letters are complete horse crap. And let's talk about the word final.
Oh, yes. We need to talk about final determination of your appeal bullshit. Okay. Let's talk about that. I got to make a banner for that. That is banner worthy, right? Okay. Final determination. How do you spell that? I need to buy a vowel. Okay, final.
All right, hang on. Before you do the banner, I just want to answer Nature Bowl's question. So Nature Bowl's, you need SBA form 1368. Wait, can we go back to Nature Bowl's question?
Nature Bowl.
I got it. I put it up there.
Oh.
No. Okay. So.
Stop pressing my buttons. Well, at least live anyway.
Okay. So Nature Bowls. We have had approvals on files with no revenue in 2019. Yes. With no tax. In fact, we just had a
and don't forget,
how much did Cliff get? 462.
And don't forget the 4506T automatically has 3 years, so it's going to have 2019 in there. It has that's a default. That's a default.
Default, right? So here. We just got an approval on Monday for our client Cliff, who wrote a wonderful review on Google.
And he's the one that signed up May of last year.
If any of you want his contact information, he's happy not only to deliver pizza to you because he's a pizza restaurant guy, but also to tell you about his experience working with us. He signed up with us in May. He had no revenue. They formed the entity Nature Bowls. They formed their business their business entity January 13th or something of 2020. And they were signing leases. They could not open the restaurant. It's a pizza restaurant inside a giant shopping mall, you know, one of those enclosed shopping malls. So the mall was shut down from March through June or July or August or something of 2020. So they had zero revenue in 2020 until later in the year. And we just got them approved for $462,000. I honestly, I don't even know how SBA even got the math for that. I didn't even bother trying to figure it out. But I'm saying to you, Nature Bowls, you can be approved. Use the SBA form 1368, 3501, 3502, and you got to make it clear to them that the reasons why you have no revenue in 2019. And again, we always say patience, persistence, process, and person. You got to get the right person to approve the loan. So in the case of Cliff, our pizza restaurant guy, I filed his paperwork in May, and we were just approved on January 3rd. After multiple document submissions and so on, and back and forth, back and forth, and probably dozens of people at the SBA touching the file until the right one touched it. So that's why we tell you folks, ignore the declination letters, ignore the word final.
Yes.
You see, final is if when I was a mortgage banker and you were trying to buy a house and you lost your job or you did something really stupid on your credit, like you filed a bankruptcy or something, or like I remember somebody years ago, we were refinancing her house and she didn't pay her loan was approved and we're getting ready to close it and she didn't pay her mortgage that month. And they updated her credit report, showed a 30-day late, loan was automatically declined. And I called her up, I said, she goes, well, I knew I was closing, so I didn't pay this month's mortgage. I said, did I tell you not to pay the mortgage? Because I didn't tell you to do that. I told you to keep paying your mortgage until you closed. And so there was nothing could be done there. Final. All right? Different with the SBA. You know why it's different? Because nobody at the SBA is doing the work necessary to approve your loan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not enough of them anyway.
Oh, so now let me just say this without you interrupting. We have several clients who even after the cap was lifted over 500,000, where you can get up to 2 million, the SBA just approved a loan where she should have gotten 1.4 million, and they capped her at 500 yesterday. So there's that. And they've also declined a bunch of loans that should have been over 500,000 right away.
Yeah, they're saying cash flow.
Because they're saying cash flow, except for, I'm sorry, this is not an S7A loan. This is an economic injury loan. And so, all right, here we go. Oh,
you are not wrong, Cass.
You are.
Although,
no, I don't know about the more patient than we are.
22 months in, we're kind of done. That's why we stopped taking new clients a few days ago.
22 months.
And
not that we're counting.
And we're actually closing our business permanently on March 17th, 2 years to the day when we started. Somebody asked about the documents.
Yeah, I'm going to create a banner. That's Tom, 1368.
Richard Gordon, P&L statement and projection. No, it's not going to work. That's not what you need. What you need is a 3501, 3502, and an SBA form 1368.
All right.
And you need on the 3501 to put on the addendum and put a giant cover page. That's the thing I started doing recently. I put a cover page on 3501 with giant font that says, "Read me."
Yes.
I'm an SBA form. Read me.
Hello. All right. So let's see. What did we cover so far, folks?
Hi, Jamie.
We have covered. Hello. We do. You know what? I have to. There are clients who have received emails from us that would attest to that. Our patience is also running very thin.
Yeah. Doug, so we don't have an answer to this question, but as you are a client and several clients are on today's show, what we tell everybody is please do not pay attention to the news.
Stop. Just turn off the TV.
Stop reading Reddit.
Yeah.
Stop watching the other YouTube videos where they're just trying to scare the shit out of you and do clickbait. That's all that crap is. Biz Journal, I hate that guy because that Biz Journal guy, it's all about paywall, because I get Google alerts with these headlines and I see a Biz Journal of Cleveland and Biz Journal here and there, and you click through and it gives you like a sentence, but you got to pay to see the rest of the article. That guy's full of crap. All he's good at doing is scaring people. Look, the money runs out when it runs out. All right? All you can do is hang in there and
Are you wearing earphones? Are you wearing earphones? This is my ASMR segment of the show.
Sadia! All right.
Jamie, definitely stopped reading anything SBA related.
You need to stop pressing the buttons, okay?
I like pressing the buttons. Nature Bowls, you're welcome.
Yeah.
What kind of fish performs
a neurosturgeon?
Thanks, John. We needed that.
Oh, that's brilliant.
What was the email we got from Deb earlier today? Can you grab that? We got the sweetest message.
Oh, yes.
Now, this client hired us.
Oh, yeah.
So she has a business out in California where she deals with estates and probate and required to be in court. And obviously with COVID-19, that shut down her entire business. And she had just started the business. So she was really trying to get started. And we filed paperwork for her. She signed up with us in January of last year, maybe February. And turns out she at one point had worked for the SBA. And she warned me. She said, they give these people a day of training, maybe 2 days. And it's basically just how to log in to the portal to do things. They don't give them any training at all on all the stuff that we're talking about on today's show. So that was very helpful. Ultimately, she wound up doing Uber Eats and Lyft deliveries and the Grubhub. She got a job doing that because she couldn't pay her bills. It's disgraceful. It's an absolute disgrace that the SBA let her down and let so many of you down. So her name is Deb, and she wrote this beautiful email this morning. She actually sent us an email 3-4 months ago saying, I no longer want the money. I don't need it. Yeah. Don't take any further action on my file. So we did stop working on her file. But she sent an email this morning. She said, keep charging through the mess. What your company, that's Aurora Consulting, what Aurora Consulting has gone through with the SBA is a national disgrace to American people in financial need to keep their business and livelihoods going. Again, my loving and best wishes for both of you in 2022. Thanks, Deb. But it is a national disgrace because all I ever see in the SBA press releases is how wonderful they
New
are.
programs.
You know,
it's like you can't even fix the oldest program you have. Why are you starting new programs?
how about approving all of you who are here today, Vicky and Erica and Richard and Jamie and Doug? How about approving all of you, and Edgar? How about approving all of your files? I read these files. I mean, some of them are challenging with getting approved. I won't lie. Some of them, you know, as a lender, I don't know that I would approve them. But there are many, 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 many tens of thousands of files out there at the SB just languishing that are perfectly eligible and qualified.
Yes, we see them. We don't take clients that shouldn't get this money. So, you know, we have a survey. We had done various, you know, preliminary underwriting type stuff, and the math is there for the funding. They're legit businesses, okay, that truly exist. And also one thing I want to say to Mark, because he's so kind and generous. And one of the things that I loved about Mark is that he shared with us when he signed up with us. He said, thank you, thank you, thank you. I just closed a deal and made $80,000 on a new client. Thank you for taking this burden off my shoulders.
He said that because we took, he said, but not having to think about this process at all anymore, and you guys, us, handling it. He said, I was able to focus on the aspects of my business that made me $80,000. We got an email from someone else just a little while ago.
No, that was Brad yesterday. Brad wrote a letter yesterday. I don't know what this is, Keely, about $2,000. I might have missed some other comments. Company was shut down for 2 months. Well, and this is the other thing too. By the way, with the Omicron variant, COVID isn't over. Okay?
It's not over.
It's not over. So I don't understand how they actually did stop for new clients to apply
on
December 31st with the new variant, you know.
We want to say happy birthday to our dear friend Marianne, who lives here in our little town of Roxbury, Connecticut. Marianne is
2000
is a wonderful gal, and today's her birthday. And first of all, we've been sick for 2 weeks with COVID.
This is what this is.
But also, we had planned to take her out for her birthday, and she just said, I don't think we should go out to a restaurant because of Omicron. That's the kind of thing whether you are shut down now through a pandemic lockdown through a state or a municipal authority or not, people are deciding. One of the headlines this morning was, I think the Chicago school district is shut down because the teachers are refusing to come to work.
Yeah.
The teachers union is saying we're not going to work because there's not enough precautions or preventive methods in place. So it is still affecting our economy, and SBA is just humming along like it's over.
Like it's over.
Like, where's the injury?
So anywho, with that, I think we covered, let's see what we covered. We talked
about final.
I'm doing the recap because if I extract a video, I want to be able to recap so people know when this video starts as a new video, what's going on. We discussed submitting a reconsideration after December 31st, about EIDL money running out. We did suggest SBA forms that you could be submitting on your own. And I did put that in the comments, but if you're having issues on how to fill it out, we have our roadmap, people. That is still available. And what else did we talk about? I think that was, loans above $500,000 and cash flow analysis issues.
So I want to, we've seen a couple of questions from our clients here about what happens after March 17th when we close down. We're not going to leave you hanging. We did consider this with tremendous amount of consideration, time, and detail. If a client hasn't been approved yet, we will prepare a package so that the client will know how to respond to SBA if and when they come back after March 17th. We'll prepare all of the necessary documents, updated forms, and so forth. We're not just going to leave you all hanging like that. But we are not going to be available after March 17th. It's physically impossible. One of our clients that was approved
2 years. It's been
yesterday.
2 years.
So she's a doctor in Texas, and her revenues are well in excess of $1.3 million, and the morons at SBA approved her yesterday only for $500,000.
That's what I was saying before about the cap's been lifted, but they're still approving loans for $500,000.
And I looked at her tax return, and there's just $300,000 cash net income on the bottom line. So there's no issue with cash flow. This is what I say to you when I say to you folks, these idiots at SBA are not doing the work. No. They're just lazy bureaucrats, clerks.
Yeah.
They're poorly trained, and they're not doing the work, because had they done the work for our client, the doctor yesterday in Texas, they would have seen $1.3 million in revenue. They would have seen cash flow at the bottom line, and they would have given her $2 million. So now we've had to send in new paperwork. But we did explain to her, as she asked us about managing the second request, we told her about March 17th. And I just said to her, I said, listen, we are emotionally, mentally, and physically wiped out.
Exhausted.
We do this 7 days a week, 15 hours a day. We're both vaccinated. I'm sure the reason we're sick with COVID is because our bodies are wiped out from this process.
I don't think having been in New York City for a week had anything to do with it, though.
Well, I don't think. No, I think our immune systems are compromised because we're exhausted. So we physically have to shut it down.
And we still worked over the holidays and sick.
The doctor, when I said this to her yesterday, closing it down on March 7th, she said, "You only live one life."
So you got one life.
And I'm sorry, but we actually, March 17th will be 2 years to the day that we started doing this, and I'm going to say something else, is that, and this is why we appreciate Mark Pruitt earlier for that contribution he made today, the $500. We've done a lot of files for free. For free. We've had a lot of people early days that either they got approved or they just kind of disappeared, and they owe us money. They owe us a lot of money. I mean, we have a substantial accounts receivable book, and we're not chasing a lot of people for money. We gave away a lot. We've given away a lot on this YouTube channel, and there's only so much that we can do.
Yeah. I mean, after a while, one of the reasons why we haven't even been on since November 24th was because we don't want to just come on just to be here. We want to actually deliver information that may be helpful to those who are doing this on their own. And, that's why we get, vehemently sort of very strong opinionated.
Well, tell them what our conversation was on March 18th, 2020. When we watched our financing business get wiped out the day before.
Yeah, we had a business financing brokerage where we were helping businesses get loans when the banks weren't lending, and we had about $3.5 million in the pipeline of loans that got flushed, and so that was about $150,000 of commissions gone, and we, what did you want me to tell them? Like that the banks weren't lending.
Well, okay. Yeah, okay. So let me remind you. So March 18th, we had a meeting. And I said to Linda,
the loans will never get approved.
Here's what we're going to do. Well, this is before we even knew what EIDL was on March 18th. We watched our financing business get wiped out. I said, listen, what's going to happen is all the sharks are going to come out, circle in the water.
Yes.
All the knuckleheads with clickbait are going to misinformation. I being in the mortgage business, I watched this happen with the global meltdown in 2008 through 2010. I watched it happen in real time. So all the knuckleheads are going to come out and try to scare the living hell out of people.
And scam people.
So I said to Linda, day one, before we even knew what EIDL was, I said, listen, there are going to be programs. And what we can do is we'll go out there on our blog, on our YouTube channel, and we'll give people free information, accurate information that you all can use to survive this thing, and we'll just give it away. Give away the information. This was March 18th, 2020. I said this. We're going to give it away, and when this whole thing is over, we will have a reputation, which, thanks to all of you, we do. We now have a national reputation. It was about a week later that one of those previous clients contacted us about the EIDL program, and on March 23rd, 2020 is when we started doing the EIDL program. But again, early days, we charged, we took small deposits from people. It turned our first 40 clients, we got everybody approved. Everybody. Yeah. I was shocked. We got everybody approved and funded. And most all of them paid the balances on their accounts receivables with us. Yeah. Except 2 or 3 people. But, it gets to a point where how much can you give away for nothing? Yeah. And you folks would be shocked at some of the messages we get from people who treat us as if we're a charity, Well, there's those. I'm going to let you answer that because you are the one who answers those questions.
No, there's those folks too, but we also have critics and crazies, as one of our clients put it. He's like, "Don't let the critics and crazies get to you." But we have some folks that feel as if we're just on standby to answer their questions indefinitely as they proceed and progress through the process. Yeah.
Tracy, you nailed it. Simple dollar store calculator. I mean, you don't even need that. I mean, a pencil and a piece of paper, for crying out loud. 37 times 2. This is the file I was looking at a couple of days ago. 37,962 gross profit times 2. Is that $75,000? I mean, come on, SBA. It's a disgrace. It's really a disgrace. Tracy, my tax returns are cleared. They don't even have my 2020 returns, so were there. I don't have the context, Tracy, of what your question is. So if you want to give us a little more context there. John Schrock has been in Recon 3 months. Dude, that's not very long. Sorry. It's not. We just got the pizza restaurant we talked about earlier. We put his reconsideration in May of last year, and he was just approved on Monday, January 3rd. So hang in there, John. Yeah. Patience, persistence, and process. If they ask you for a form 17 times, give it to them 18 times. Yep. Stop questioning and start submitting. Yes. Don't tell stories. Don't put things into your email. Yes. Don't write a story in email. The body of your email should be really simple.
See attached.
See attached.
Period. None of this storytelling.
They're not reading your emails.
Why you need the money, how long you've been waiting, they've already asked for, what you've already submitted. Stop it. Stop it.
So Trina Sunshine. That's like a rock star name. And I love your logo there. What is it you do, Trina? Because that's kind of a boss looking logo. You ignore the declination letter, Trina. Completely ignore it.
Just ignore it.
You got a cat? Print it out if you want to waste the paper and ink and put it in your cat litter box, because that's all it's good for.
We have someone who was declined.
Just keep going, Trina. Patience process.
We have someone who was declined on December 22nd, which is the same date that we submitted their Jumpstart. Jumpstart is an internal in-house term we use. It's our strategy of trying to unearth files that have been sitting, languishing at the SBA in the depths of darkness. And we submitted their Jumpstart on December 22nd. It just so happened that they received a declination on the same date. They don't read. They don't know how to do math. So why should you honor what you think they know when they know nothing? Okay? But you have to be better than them and point them in the right direction of the forms and the math.
So here in our town of Roxbury, where the little market that we have, the little country market down the hill here, where I bought my hat.
Anissa, are you on? Because you better say hi in the comments, Anissa. Anissa's a neighbor who said she loves your hat and she's with us, but she's hiding.
Anissa. Come out of the hiding there, Anissa, and tell your man Steven I need a cake.
Yeah, where's our holiday cake?
I need a cake. We've been sick for 2 weeks. We need a cake here, Anissa and Steven. Anissa and Steven are 2 of our dearest friends here in town. So we assisted the fellow who owns our local marketplace, our country market here in town, and we got him an EIDL loan. We got him PPP money. We got him restaurant relief fund money. He's a veteran of the United States Armed Forces. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Wayne, for your service. And we got him substantial amount of money. But obviously, it wasn't enough. And so we recently sent in a request for an increase. Okay. Now, I filed Wayne's original application, so it was done correctly. 100% correctly. because I kind of sort of know how to do that. Thank you, V. And we just before Christmas, just before we went to New York City for our Christmas quasi holiday, I submitted a package to the SBA, a 3501, 3502, 4506T, a 2202, a PO22, a tax return, a voided check, and a driver's license. We had Wayne submit it. And the next morning, he got a declination saying you have already been given the maximum amount, except going back to what Trina was saying earlier, or Tracy rather, it was obvious that nobody did the fifth grade arithmetic.
Yeah.
Because they gave him 6 months of working capital the first time, and we never requested an increase since then until just in December, and they didn't even do the math. This is what we're dealing with. That's what we tell you, folks. Just keep going.
Sadia, we would not have taken your case if you didn't have a chance. It's not about a chance with the numbers. It's the fact that SBA is...
Oh, wow. Trina Sunshine, you're hurting for certain with your business with the pandemic. Event productions and a hair extensions company. Oh, feel your pain, girlfriend. Feel your pain.
5 times, send it 6. And require a business plan. That's the other thing. This is the other thing. And don't interrupt me when I say this, okay? Because it's 2022.
Business plan's bullshit.
Well,
it's bullshit.
For the SBA, for the EIDL.
I'm not even going to read it.
They're not going to read it. I don't know what they're doing while they're asking, but it's good you had it. Let's say applause the fact that he had one to submit one. Because raise your hand if you have a business plan, folks. You know, we've been talking about business plans since 2018, 2019. We were doing videos on our Finance Friday. 4 out of 5 people that we talk to don't have business plans. It's time for your own sanity and satisfaction of having a plan.
My advice to you, ma famille, mon ami, is this: SBA 3501, 3502, and a 1368.
Yep. Boom. I have a banner for that.
For those of you who may not be aware, we wrote a book, or a course rather, called The Roadmap to Reconsideration. And Linda's posted the link here. So the roadmap...
I did not post a link.
Gives you...
It is in the description.
The inside of this brain right here. It gives you the inside of my loan officer brain and how I think for every facet of the EIDL process. So if you're doing it yourself, invest the money. How much is this EIDL money worth it to you? Invest the money, buy our roadmap to reconsideration, and you will get the assistance you need. Sadly, we are not accepting any new clients at this time.
No, especially because we would like to sleep at night. And if we're exiting in March and we have clients that have been in the pipeline for a year, we would not feel comfortable doing that. So
Tracy, send it in again. Just keep sending it.
Yeah. We were going to enhance the roadmap. We were going to do a roadmap 2.0. I'm still deliberating. We were going to add video segments to the more complicated sections because it's an entire PDF course. You get a zip file and there are folders that explain everything for everything that's included. And I said to Trevor, we should do a 2.0. And because this isn't going to end, people are still going to need reconsideration guidance. But people don't want to, some people don't have the money. So what are you saying? What? Don't.
Okay. So flip it forward. This sounds like you're reading something on Reddit.
Tax returns.
So stop reading Reddit. Okay. That's the best advice we can give you. Stop watching the other YouTube videos with the clickbait. Although we've noticed that the clickbait folks about EIDL have all disappeared apparently. Because they all those idiots seem to be wanting to talk about was targeted advance, which we've always said we don't deal with targeted advance. The advance is a load of hooey. My opinion as a financing professional is Congress created the advance for the EIDL program in the early days of COVID to get a quick cash infusion into the economy. It worked. The fact that it was relaunched on December 27, 2020, and all of folks out there in the world are trying to get it, to me, take the EIDL loan. You'll have much more success with that.
You want to handle
Ray Nugent, I'm sorry, but we are not accepting new clients. Apologies, but we just physically can't do it any longer.
Flip It Forward said, I read it here. Here, as in
read it
YouTube,
here?
or
On our channel?
Not our channel for sure.
What was the question again? Flip it forward. What's this about no tax returns after September 2021? I don't even know what that means.
Marion, we've seen you here before. We thought you were done. Oh no.
Does the SBA add the income? Okay, so Marion, the answer to this question that you have to ask yourself first is, on these two separate income streams on the Schedule C, does each Schedule C have an EIN and a separate bank account? Or do the funds from both Schedule Cs go into your personal bank account? If they go into your personal bank account, you are a sole proprietor / independent contractor. If one or both of the Schedule Cs feature an EIN on the Schedule C and the funds that you earn from that income stream go into a bank account under the name of that business entity, then it is a separate application.
I don't know what Flip It Forward is reading. I don't even, with the comments above here, I do not understand that. I do not understand what, maybe copy and paste the comment to send to us, because I do not know what that means. After September 2021. Okay. I don't understand that. Okay, so with that, if there are no more questions coming in, we will log off. We don't want to just hang out here and waste air. Again, our mission is to provide valuable, relevant information based on real-time bullshit going on. So with that, if there are no more questions, we will log off. Marion, I hope we answered your question. Did you ask for something that she put personal here?
I think Marion's the one with the with the two Schedule Cs. So if they're personal, Marion, then you're a sole proprietor / independent contractor. And what you should do is file an SBA Form 3501, and in the addendum on page 11, make sure you make that clear. That this is how you are paid, because you cannot trust the knucklehead at the SBA to read your tax return and figure this out on your own. Even though when I underwrite a file, first thing I do is I open up the bank statement, I look at the tax return, I look for articles of formation. These are all documents we request for our clients, and I look to see what these income streams are. It takes minutes to do. And the shame is that these idiots at the SBA are not doing their job, period. Right. I see some new comments down here.
But I want to answer Marion, and I want to put in the comments for you folks that have
You're welcome, Mark.
Followed us for over a year and a half. We have started a new YouTube channel, youtube.com/Aurora Consulting. I'm going to put the link in the comments. It is a simple sense for small business podcast style video that we have been building up. We're on season 2 about scaling your business.
We also appear on Apple and Spotify, right?
Yep, and a bunch of other outlets. But if you are unable to make a donation to support this channel, we only ask for a Google review, a positive Google review on any information that has been helpful during this journey, and to subscribe to our new channel. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers so I get the community tab, because sometimes I post in our EIDL channel community tab to direct people over there. It means more than you know, so we really, really do appreciate if you could check us out there. They average 10 minutes, these podcasts. They're short, and I think they're kind of meaty, and we talk about
meaty.
We talk about a lot of stuff, small business owners.
Chunky soup.
It's basically mistakes we've seen and made so you can avoid them. That's the whole thing.
So flip it forward. I think you misread that comment earlier. Nature Bowls is the one who said that. We did not say that. We don't know anything about SBA not accepting taxes after 2020. And frankly, that sounds like possibly Nature Bowls talked to some knucklehead at SBA who said that to them. And again, My credo, folks, is this. If an SBA representative tells me the sky is blue, I'm going to contact NASA for spectral analysis. I do not believe 99% of what comes out of their mouths.
I mean,
and you should not either.
The thing is, we have worked on over 450 files. We've seen some shit, and it's nuts what the SBA is doing or not doing. V, to your comment here, your question, one of the things we will try to do in 2022 with this channel is, if, of course, there's some relevant information, we will still come on and share and advise. We're just not taking new clients, and we will be shutting down working on files eventually.
Specifically, so we subscribe to the SBA, various SBA newsletters, and it's all crap. Mm-hmm. They talk about how great they are, how much money they've given out. They're giving out awards to women entrepreneurs. They're great, bully. Hey, great, SBA, pat yourself on the back. Meanwhile, there are tens of thousands, if not millions of people like you folks out there who have not been approved yet on a basic EIDL loan, which is a tax return and a credit report. It ain't rocket science, and it's fifth grade arithmetic. So basically, I don't pay attention to the SBA updates. And then there was the SBA update a week before December 31st, which confused even me, which said, we will continue to work on reconsiderations, but it seemed to say that you should have submitted your reconsideration before December 31st. But elsewhere on the SBA website, it says something completely different. So they cannot, in classic, SBA cannot get their messaging together, which is why I basically don't pay attention to it. You know what I pay attention to? Results.
Yeah.
30 million plus in approvals that we've gotten for our clients. We know what works. Our roadmap to reconsideration will show you what works. Our YouTube videos will show you what works. That's all that matters. And I gather this data from working on hundreds and hundreds of interactions with SBA, on files, on documents, on conversations with SBA.
It's safe to say countless interactions.
Countless interactions for nearly 2 years. And combined with my experience as a loan officer too, this makes sense. This does not make sense.
Right.
And put that all together to create kind of an intelligentsia database, if you will.
So Al, if you get approved and funded, I'm not sure what this means. Are you done with the SBA? I don't know what you mean by that. If you mean done, you still have responsibility as a borrower per your loan agreement that you will want to download from the portal when you are approved. And there's some record-keeping responsibilities.
Well, I think I know what's happening.
Okay.
Al, I'm going to hazard a guess that you are confusing an eligibility number with an approval. And we get this all the time. In fact, we had a client last week accuse us of being scammers.
Oh my God.
Of taking his money. Meanwhile, we submitted his reconsideration 3 times. And we submitted multiple document loads. Well, he went ghost on us over the last 2 months. So last week we reached out to him because we're trying to do Jumpstart 2.0. And that's when he comes back with this disgraceful and disgusting comment. And mind you, this is a guy who does credit repair. And if you've seen me on these videos, you know what I think about people in the credit repair industry. It's a lot of horse shit. Okay. So in any event, he claims to be approved. But then in his email, his ranting email, he indicates that he hasn't been funded yet. So
you're not
to
approved.
Me, it looks like he got an eligibility email, which he got because of my work, not because of his, that he thinks he's approved. So, Al, if that's the case, if your eligibility is showing a number, that does not mean you're approved.
Correct.
Approved means you get an email that says you're approved.
By the way, there's in our community tab, please click on the community button on the dashboard of our homepage here. Because I did 2 posts. You'll have to scroll down. I'm going to try to find the link. If you're approved, you're going to know it. There's 2 ways that happen when you're approved. Number 1, you get an email with a green button. It says approval and you can continue. Not updated. It says approved. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, you get an email with a PDF attachment that says loan modification letter. And in the letter, it says your loan has been increased from 2. Your payment is this, now that, or was this, now that. Those are the 2 ways you know.
And then when you log on to the portal, you'll be able to sign the loan closing documents. But actually, I want to address the multiple owners loan closing documents. Can we talk about that?
Do it.
And changing bank accounts and stuff. So we do have some more to talk about. But folks, first of all, I want to thank the couple of you who have responded to the someone accusing us of being a scammer. Thank you, Marion.
Yes.
And John. And
it's heartbreaking and soul crushing because
we care so deeply for what we do, and for some punk to accuse us of that. So there's another guy, by the way, who has for the last 8 weeks done the same thing. He accused us of stealing his money, and he wants his money back.
Meanwhile, he signs and initials throughout our documentation that we do not lend the money. We do not control the SBA. It's so
that
stupid.
We cannot guarantee an approval, and our fee is non-refundable. But apart from that, he got something for his targeted advance. And it was the first communication he got. And this is way back in end of September, early October. So I sent him SBA Form 1368. I said, listen, we'll assist you with the targeted advance as a courtesy, because that's what we did for some of our clients. We assisted. So I sent him the 1368, which requires monthly revenues going back to January 2019. And in his case, he had started the business in October 2019. So I said first month of revenue all the way through to whatever it was, September, October 2021. And because the targeted advance application, as you may know, requires that data. Well, he never filled it out.
Yeah.
I said, no, he says, you're just giving me more work to do. I'm like, I'm not giving you more work to do. We're doing this as a courtesy. And if you want, you can get $10,000 like in 2 weeks. And he refused. To this day, he hasn't filled it out. So needless to say, we are still working on his file. So we're putting together our Jumpstart 2.0 package for him. And Lorraine, who is our document control manager, sent this message to Linda and I through our CRM, client relationship management package, just before showtime. And Lorraine wrote this about this guy's file. This is the guy who accuses us of stealing his money. We have submitted his reconsideration twice. We sent him paperwork for him to submit on his own as a redundancy, and he never told us if he submitted it or not. So we don't even know if he did that little bit of work. But we know at least 2 reconsiderations have been submitted since August. Okay? Here's Lorraine's comment on reviewing his file today. And this is classic, folks. Okay? She says, please advise me regarding this client. None of his documents are right. And I had to go back to July in my handwritten notes. Someone marked his file complete, but it was not complete. It must have been we had a new person who didn't last with us very long. That person obviously made a mistake. But either way, she said, to get him jump-started, I would need to request all the documents that we requested 6 months ago, and then do notices and templates. This is the guy who was accusing us of
not
being
doing
scammers.
the work.
So in a way, the takeaway is not how much we're crying that people are accusing us of this. It's our way of illustrating to you folks out there in the world that if you want the money, you got to do the work. There are no shortcuts. There is a process which requires unbelievable amount of patience.
Send it again, Percy.
And persistence. Eliminate your storytelling. Follow the guidance in our YouTube videos. Buy our roadmap. It's worth it. You will have all the forms you needed in the roadmap. I'll show you in the roadmap how to fill out the forms. And it is as cold and Mr. Spock, Star Trek logical as I can get. There's no emotion. When you see me ranting and raving here on our shows, I promise you, when I process your paperwork, there's none of that emotion, unless I'm annoyed with the SBA. And
well, unless he's dealing directly with the SBA for sure. Because you just said like 30 minutes ago where you were like, I'm screaming in my office and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what's going on in there?
Yeah, so Percy, we see this a lot. Submit them anyway.
Yeah.
Also, Percy, what we've seen is duplicate requests on the portal. It'll say SBA 2202 received, and then right below it'll say SBA 2202 requested, but you submitted already. And by the way, if you try to upload the same form again, it will say to you, this has already been submitted. So it's incredibly frustrating, but again, it's just indicative of the overall SBA process. No attention to detail. Nobody seems to be running the joint over there. I mean, the people running the place just walking around patting themselves on the back all the time instead of actually getting the work done. They are a complete failure as an agency. They should be dissolved. That's how we started out today's show.
Switching banks.
Yeah, I'm going to come to that in just a second. So, ma famille, mon ami, I would say no.
Whoa. I just commented and said if they ask for it, submit it.
Not for a 12-month business plan. They're not going to read it. They don't need it. They should be saying to you, give us the 3501, 3502.
Yeah.
That's what they should. So submit that. Because listen, the idiot asking you for the business plan probably doesn't even have your file anymore. That's the other thing the SBA does. I've never seen anything like this in 30 years in the lending business, that the person processing the file, it gets taken away from them. All the time. And apparently there's like all kinds of people touching files. I've been told internally that we have all these teams that do different aspects of review, fraud alert, and 4506T, and this, that, and the other thing. What's the phrase? Too many chefs? Spoil the
kitchen. Too many chefs in the kitchen.
Okay, so what was the other one?
The switching banks.
Okay,
this is really important.
So let's talk about switching banks, changing email address, and multiple business owners once the loan is approved. First of all,
if I got to get more water for this.
I wouldn't mind some water also, because you told me to hydrate to beat COVID.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so what I discovered recently in my travels and my analysis of multiple files and so forth is that apparently you can change the banking information. Here are the two methods that I recommend. Number one is preparing a letter, not an email, a letter that you sign and date, has your header at the top, your name, business name, address, EIN number, phone number, email address, everything we tell you to do in our roadmap. To whom may concern, I have changed banks for whatever, and cite the reason, keep it simple. The bank was charging me too many fees, or the bank was merged. This has happened a lot also in the last 2 years. Banks have been buying out other banks. So herein, please find my updated bank information. Please update my EIDL number file accordingly, and then put in name of bank, name on account, routing number, and account number. Include a voided check, or better yet, download from your banking website your PDF direct deposit instructions, which shows a voided check on it and shows the routing number and everything. Send that in to disaster customer service at sba.gov. As a redundancy, complete SBA Form 3501, which is an application. And the purpose of 3501 is to allow you to amend or correct any information on your original SBA application, such as you've changed your address, you've changed your bank account, you've changed your email address, etc. So use 3501 as a redundancy and send that form, signed and dated, to pdcrecons at sba.gov. So you've got two ways of telling SBA that you've changed your bank account. Same with your email. We have a couple of situations where people hired criminals in the early days to get their loans, and now they've hired us to get the reconsiderations. They have no access to the previous email because the criminals have taken their money, and they took a lot of money, and have not responded in giving them access to that email address. And we know that SBA sends emails to the original email address on your original EIDL application. So, same methodology. Write a letter. I no longer have access to this email address. Don't go into the reasons why. They don't know. They don't care. They don't need to know. Say, please add this new email address to my file and include that. Send that to disaster customer service at sba.gov. And again, redundancy, fill out SBA Form 3501 and do the same thing. Put the email address where appropriate on the form, but then in page 11, the addendum, write the same thing you wrote in the letter. Just copy and paste whatever's in the letter into addendum on page 11. Last but not least, what if there are multiple business owners? We're going to drink some fluids here.
All right. Let me put up a banner for that, so that I can extract this. Multiple business owners, what to do. Okay.
Thank you, Marion. We are feeling a little better. Okay. So, more of the stupidity, inconsistency, and incongruity of the idiots at the SBA. On the original EIDL application that you all filled out in spring of 2020 or whenever you submitted it, and on SBA Form 3501, it basically says, who's the authorized person? In other words, one person will be authorized to interact with the SBA, including signing documents. But here's the inconsistency. We've had multiple situations where with owners who own more than 20% of the business, when the loan is approved, the SBA has the loan agreement available on the portal for DocuSign by the authorized person. But the SBA then sends an email to each of the other owners separately and apart with another DocuSign of the EIDL loan agreement, which cannot be found on the portal, for those people to sign separately. Well, we found this out by accident because the SBA's communication sucks. And they don't tell you this on the portal. They don't say sign the closing documents. And by the way, because there are multiple owners, please tell those people to check the email. You don't know what I went through with some of these other owners. I mean, you got some people who are really not engaged with the business. They were originally really just investors. They're not involved in the day-to-day operation. I have to coax them, call them, beg them to go through their spam folder to find the email. And then there's a whole thing about getting back to the SBA saying, we never got the email. So if you have multiple business owners, anticipate that when the loan is approved, SBA is going to send a separate EIDL loan agreement to each business owner who owns more than 20% of the business that was on the original application. Make sure they're aware the loan is approved and that they will be getting that email and to check their spam folders. Okay? Now, it can go very efficiently. We have client number 2 who owns multiple restaurants. We got an approval. We sorted out this whole nonsense with the multiple signers just last week. It took us almost 2 months to sort it out. We finally got it sorted out. The business partner, who's a very smart guy who runs a plumbing supply company, who's not an idiot, never got the email, even though SBA said we sent it to you. And I had the guy triple, quadruple check his spam folder, okay? He finally gets the email. He DocuSigns it, sends me a copy, and I went on the portal. I double-checked that my authorized primary business owner had DocuSigned. He had done it, and the money went into the account the next day. So it really does work when it works, but we just wanted to alert you all to this inconsistency, which is classic for SBA and their poor communications.
All right. Well, it's been an hour and 10 minutes. We are going to wrap it up unless there are other questions that you guys have. Again, the only thing we ask 3 things if we have helped you in any way for those that are still with us and that where we may have answered some questions. A positive Google review. We have put the link in the comments. It's also in the description. Number 1. Number 2, subscribe to our Aurora Consulting podcast channel, Simple Sense for Small Business, youtube.com/Aurora Consulting. That helps more than you know because this enterprise is over for us. So we
have to figure out another way to make money.
So
to make a living. You know, while all of you folks are out there, hopefully trying to come up with strategies for the last 2 years to pivot and come up with other ways of making income. We've been working on this EIDL stuff 7 days a week. We've barely had time to think about what we're going to do next when this was over. So we are going in a completely different direction, a content creation business aspect. And our Simple Sense for Small Business podcast is the first of many types of content products that we'll be releasing.
There's also, if we helped you in any way with some of our free advice, there is a little $sign at the bottom of the chat where you can make a small donation to assist the channel as we continue to hopefully provide updates with SBA nonsense so that you guys can have that when it's all happening. So we do appreciate that. So those are 3 easy ways that you can say thank you.
I have one more response. Okay. So BK, last piece of advice. This is a common problem. So first of all, any of you who amended your tax returns for more income, you should anticipate that it's very likely a loan officer is going to call you out and accuse you of attempting to commit fraud.
Yeah.
Because as a loan officer, I'm telling you, that's how it looks like to me. It looks like somebody filed a tax return that was convenient to pay less income taxes, but then realized in order to get a higher EIDL, they would amend the tax return and claim more income. So I'm just warning all of you.
No one is saying anything that's happening. We're
not saying that's happened to you, but I'm just telling you as a veteran loan officer, that's how it looks to the loan officer. Okay. So that having been said, if you have a valid reason why you had to amend the tax return, it's because somebody didn't send you 1099s or whatever the reason is, I would support it with a letter from your CPA on letterhead, signed and dated by the CPA. Okay. So it's a kind of an independent verification of the reason having to file the amended return.
And that's why they have that designation where they can write opinions, and it's a valid, legitimate
CPAs
reason.
literally are licensed to write opinions, and the IRS respects their opinions, and so should the SBA. Next, this problem you're having, BK, with the transcripts not showing it, the way to overcome that is SBA Form 3501, 3502, and SBA Form 1368, and 12 months of bank statements. And offer all of that in your 3501 addendum. You've got to tell your story, and you have to lay it out in a logical, efficient manner.
Not all the emotions. No emotions. Facts, dates, reasons, time frames. No emotion. They don't have time for that. We see it, so we know what's happening. We see it.
Well, thank you, Marion, and we hope that you will come along for the ride. We have all kinds of pretty interesting stuff that we're going to be doing. Books, music.
Yep.
YouTube, videos. We will still be talking about the EIDL program after March 17th here on this channel. We're going to modify it slightly where we will be talking about EIDL natural disaster loans, tornadoes and wildfires and hurricanes, and also continuing our tradition of talking about how to request an EIDL increase, because as per your EIDL loan agreement, you are permitted to request additional funds up to 24 months after disbursement of the initial loan. Excuse me. Sorry, a little congestion. So by the way, this is a good way of coming back to answer this stupid question out there about, are they going to run out of money? And this is why I don't think they're going to run out of money. Do you know why?
Oh, boy.
So there's a legal mandate in the loan program, in your loan agreement, all the tens of millions of businesses that have been approved and
Mark,
receive
pay
funding,
attention.
that says the applicant, the borrower, will notify the SBA as immediately as possible within 24 months of disbursement of the need for additional funding. Okay. That's in the loan agreement. So think about this logically for a minute. If that is a contract that all of you have with the United States government Small Business Administration, that you are allowed to come back and ask for additional funding up to 2 years later, where's that money going to come from? What, do you think the Congress is going to allow that to just disappear? I don't think so. All right. So I hope that helps some of you sleep a little better about the money. Now,
oh, thank you, BK.
Thank you, BK.
Oops.
Very kind. That's very kind. That's several pizzas, which, we're in part of Connecticut here in Roxbury.
Thank you so much. Really
we
appreciate it.
We do not get pizza delivery here.
We do
BK.
not.
As crazy as that sounds. And we have a lot of clients, by the way, who own pizza restaurants.
The EIDL loan is not, businesses after January 31st, 2020 are not eligible for EIDL monies. Well, I don't know if that answers the question.
Eric, are you asking about a standard SBA 7A or 504? An SBA 7A is a regular SBA loan which has no collateral attached to it other than the business assets, like accounts receivable or equipment or inventory.
Sorry, Eric, I just assumed.
an SBA 504 is essentially an SBA mortgage on real property owned by a business, such as an office building or a warehouse or a factory. Now, if you're asking, can we go back to Eric's question?
Yes.
Thank you, BK. So here's one of many reasons why we hate the SBA. Because prior to COVID, that's, Eric, what we were doing. We built a little financing practice to assist businesses like yours. And while the banks would have you believe that they will get you an SBA loan for your startup, they're full of shit. Because the SBA, this is why I said at the beginning of today's show, the SBA has completely failed in its mission to provide working capital to underserved communities. Because if you are a startup, that means you have no financial history. And the look-back period with the SBA is 3 years. When I say look back, they want to see a tax return with a positive cash flow for 3 years. Well, if you're a startup, you don't have that. Right. Exactly.
Hold on. Can I say how a major national bank, I will not say the name, we had a little deli acquisition case that we were working on for 18 months, 90 grand, or was it $120? I don't know.
Started 125,000.
This bank wouldn't even write from their own coffers. They wouldn't even underwrite.
Oh, no.
They went to the SBA.
Out of the bank, the bank dumped the file into an SBA program out of the gate. That's the other thing. So when you hear about businesses getting approved for SBA loans, it's all bullshit. You know why it's bullshit? Because the bank's first line of defense is to go SBA because the bank doesn't want to be on the hook for the risk.
Yeah.
The banks are not willing to put any of their own money up. And I think SBA guarantees something like 85 or 90% of an SBA loan. So the bank's only on the hook for 10 or 15% of risk. The other part of it is because of this cash flow nonsense and look back for 3 years, A, the bank dumps everybody into an SBA product, and B, the only files that get approved are businesses that are established and have a cash flow. Well, first of all, why do they get dumped into an SBA product and paying higher fees? Bank, you're full of crap, bankers. And B, it's proof that the SBA will only approve files that have positive cash flow, which means all these underserved communities, women, Black business owners, Hispanic business owners, Native American, veterans, LGBTQ groups, entrepreneurs starting up, you can't get approved because you don't have the financial fundamentals that need to be in place to get approved. SBA is full of shit.
They are. And that's why actually, so, it's interesting because we had no idea that our channel would take off. This channel.
Thank you, Marion.
EIDL is, our business is net niche, right? So that's part of the thing with the small business and YouTube, I think, a little bit. Because we were doing If Then Thursday and Finance Friday to help prepare businesses for financing, and flatlined. Our channel for 2 years, flatlined. And then when the EIDL came up, the problems with some of the business owners that they were having with getting the money were exactly everything that we were talking about from 2018 to 2019 before this whole thing shit the bed.
So, Eric, I want to thank you for introducing this line of questioning into our conversation today. Really appreciate it because it does give us kind of a platform or springboard, if you will, to our next level of content. Make sure, Eric, that you tune into our Simple Sense for Small Business podcast, which is on a separate YouTube channel. It's also on Apple and Spotify and the other platforms. But Eric, one of the things you're talking about here, so your question is, I will look elsewhere. The project is done. I'm in need of money from marketing funds. Any advice? So here's some of the advice I have for you. And we've talked about this previously in our videos. We used to do a series of videos, This Then Thursday.
If Then
Thursday and Financing Friday. What do we do?
Finance Friday.
So we have a whole bunch of those videos. But one of the things we said back then, Eric, was if you're putting together financing for your business, number one, steer clear of merchant cash advance accounts.
Please.
Those people look like make the you've heard of the mafia with all that.
Do not do it.
They make the MCA people make those kind of criminal organizations look like a bunch of.
We did a video. I'm going to put a link in the chat. We did a video on it last January, a year ago, and there's a shark on the thumbnail. And we talked about
so avoid those horrible cash advance. And we know they're banging down your door, and it's some punk 19-year-old who can't even spell the word amortization, who is reaching out to you, promising you the moon, the sun, the stars. All they're looking to do is rip your eyes out.
Yeah.
What I would say, Eric, is put your best foot forward and reach into your contacts and try to borrow money or bring investors in to your business.
He doesn't say that lightly either.
Right. So, which is the next level I want to go to, Eric. And again, I thank you for bringing this up. So if you're going to bring in an outside party, a family member, friends, business associates, and so forth, and you're going to bring these folks in to provide some of the financing, make sure you hire a real attorney to draft the paperwork. Don't do LegalZoom, please. I look at LegalZoom articles of formation all the time. They are total crap. It is clear that people just took a shortcut. They should have hired an attorney. Hire an attorney, Eric, and get an attorney to write an ironclad agreement that protects you and your business. Because here's what happens when small business owners like you bring in outside parties. And we always talk about pizza, right?
Oh, yeah. We have a blog about it. We did a video about it.
What do investors typically do after 6 months after they put their money into the business?
They tell you how to run your business.
They tell you how to make your pizza. You built this little business you got here with this really cool pizza, this sourdough pizza, and it's flying out the door, and you need money to expand, so you bring in an investor, and 6 months later, the schmuck is telling you how to make the pizza because he's looking to get a return on his investment. But if you had an ironclad agreement in writing, which says you don't get to tell me how to run the business, and this is how and when I will pay you, and you're assuming some of the risk here.
We have a client who went through that. We went through that with a client. Good. It is John. It's John S. who's having a birthday today. Say happy birthday, everyone. It's John from SLS.
Who's SLS?
I can't say it out loud.
Okay.
I can't reveal our sources.
Hi, John. Happy birthday. Okay, so
he obviously doesn't know about the email I sent you.
Bringing that in.
Yes.
To our conversation. And again, folks, we thank you all for tuning in today. And we have no frozen pizzas left here in the house, so I don't really know what I'm doing for lunch.
You're going to make a ham sandwich.
Probably. We can't go out because we still have COVID, so we're here in the house. And apparently it's a really gray and foggy New England day outside.
Yeah, it's really, I love it. I love winter. Who else loves winter? I love the snow. I know I'm alone. I know I'm in the minority.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you. You're welcome,
Make sure you subscribe to Simple Sense for Small Business. Hopefully we can give you some other advice there, Eric.
Yes, please. I put the link.
Help you build your business.
The link is in the chat. It's also in the description below. YouTube.com/Aurora Consulting. Now John wants pizza. See, good. Chadu. I love winter too. I love it. I love it so much. It's the best. It is. Yeah, I know. Autumn is my favorite. It is.
I love autumn.
Actually, winter, my favorite. Sun is good. Vitamin D.
I like seasons. I like variety. Although I also like the sun of sunny Southern California too. So
yeah. Anyway, we just want to say thank you again for hanging out with us. We don't come live anymore as much, but now I have an hour and a half worth of footage that I can break down into smaller videos. We'll talk about if there are multiple owners in your business, filing a reconsideration, even if it's after December 31st, EIDL running out of money or not, changing your bank accounts, and what to do with that.
Multiple owners.
I already talked about that. I already said that. And also we did put in the chat that to make any changes or fix any mistakes from your original EIDL loan, you're going to want to use 3501 and 3502, and you're going to want 1368 to support cash flow analysis. All of this is outlined very comprehensively in our roadmap for those who are not clients. And since we're not accepting clients, that is still available and will be. So there you go.
I just wanted to share. These are only some of the books that I have not been able to read since I'm an idiot because I love to read. I love to buy books. So I go online, I buy books. You can see I started some of them, and I buy books and I want to read them, but I don't have time because we're working on EIDL. So in a way, March 17th is important for us because actually. We get our life back after March 17th. And again, we thank all of you so very much really from the bottom of our hearts for tuning in, for making us famous here on internet, on YouTube, and giving us a national reputation. And for those of you who contributed today, Mark and BK. And,
can you just answer Marion?
Mark? I think it was Marion.
BK, Mark, for your contributions, and Marion for your contribution. Marion wants to know, with the email,
3501 goes to, well, Marion, answer my question real quick. Are you an increased client or a reconsideration for a decline loan? Answer that first, and then I'll give you the correct source.
Oh, thank you so much.
Love
thank
you,
you,
man.
thank you, thank
Brother, sister, mother, father, I don't know. BK.
So
I kind of like your logo. Is that an oak tree, BK? Because it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And what do you do? Tell us what it is you do, BK. Love to hear about it.
Yeah, you guys share your business in case you're
Marion, just
digital
waiting for
or
your
national. We'll see. Now, if there's 3 emails that people are always asking, like, which one? Okay, there's a COVID increase, and I don't have it handy to post it, but you can always Google COVID increase.
So Marion said it's an increase.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me jump off of you.
Yeah.
So Linda said increase. So Marion, the email address is COVID increase requests at SBA.gov.
Yeah.
COVID. Oh wait, no, it's not. It's COVID idle increase.
Yes,
requests.
that's why I'm saying Google it.
No,
it.
don't Google.
You can Google it.
You can.
It'll come up.
COVID idle increase requests at SBA.gov.
This is the disaster one I'm putting in the comments too, because you did mention
COVID idle EIDL increase requests at SBA.gov. Marion, in your case, and for all folks working on increases, that's your email address. Now,
Percy,
an important note. Thank you, Percy.
Thank you. What? Wait, someone told me I have to send blank people with X on it to get portal move. What? No.
Who told you that? Oh my God. All right, let's finish with Marion. Okay, so Marion, an important note about the COVID idle increase requests at SBA.gov email address. Classic SBA inconsistency, poor communication, etc. When you submit an email to that address, you will not get a confirmation email.
Period.
More stupidity from SBA.
Yeah.
If you are a declined loan, you send it into PDC Recons.
That you will get. A confirmation.
And if you are trying to change your bank account and your email address, you send that into the SBA Disaster Customer Service email, which is Disaster Customer Service.
I did put it in there,
at SBA.gov. Okay.
Yeah.
And Percy, I never heard of sending in a blank piece of paper for anything in my life.
Yeah.
For anything.
No, it's not blank. They said put an X on it.
BK. Well, that's still a blank. A family historian. Wow.
Oh, that's so cool.
That is boss. That's really a really cool. That's one of the other things we've discovered in our travels. We have a lot of clients and folks like you out there who are really got some really awesome kind of businesses, and we kind of love that.
Yeah, we're gonna miss having some of the interactions.
I'm not gonna miss it.
There are some people that I just put the COVID increase email in the chat as well. Again, it would feel nice to send blank paper. They send us blank useless stuff all the time. True story. So, all right. Well, you guys have been amazing. Thank you. November 24th was our last live. We don't know when we're going to be going live again. We don't go live just to go live. We don't want to do that to you. This is, we're not professional entertainers. You are because you're a musician, but we only want to provide value. That's our mission, so that you can get through this with some sanity left after almost 2 years. So,
could you put the silly glasses on again?
Oh, yeah.
And Percy, okay, avoided check is not a blank piece of paper with an X. Okay, just to be clear. That's what went through our heads when you said a blank piece of paper. Percy, avoided check is a standard request with almost any lender out there. You can also substitute a voided check with the PDF that you download from your banking website, which is the direct deposit instructions, which will have a voided check and the routing number and account number on it. You can submit that as well. And by the way, Percy, just to be clear, a voided check means an actual blank check with the word void written across it, not a check that has already been cashed or that you wrote to yourself and you write void. It must be blank and the word void.
Well, when you say blank, it has your name of your business on it, or your name.
Or your name
if you're a sole proprietor. Yeah. So, all right, folks, thanks so much. Again, please subscribe to our Simple Sense for Small Business podcast channel. Really helps us out.
Thanks for tuning in, folks.
To get YouTube to think we're actually still important.
We didn't even say Happy New Year.
I said it in the beginning.
Oh, did you? Okay. I was too busy ranting and raving. I've calmed down a lot. You got to admit, right?
I know.
You all calmed me down today, and I thank you for that because my blood pressure just definitely went down.
Thank you, everyone.
And I'm hoping that Anissa, our neighbor here in town, is contacting her husband on his FedEx route and saying, Trevor wants cake.
Yeah.
So Stephen can deliver cake to me later today.
So,
because I feel like having cake.
Yes, it has to be a real check or direct deposit instructions that you can download from your bank. All right.
Thanks, Trina.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much.
Thanks
be safe, be well,
Happy
be
New
healthy,
Year.
be prosperous.